Welcome to the quick hitter version of Buckets, Boards, and Blocks. I'm Monica McNutt alongside my co-host King McClure. This week, our featured conversation is about the coaching carousel and the diverse candidates, specifically the women that are up for some of these positions. One of the things that's been really interesting this year is the coaching carousel. We've got 3 Black coaches that took new head coaching jobs, and Carlisle, who won the championship 10 years ago. Atlanta better remove the interim tag off Nate McMillan, or this would just be absolutely ridiculous. And so he would be added to that group. The open jobs are Washington, Orlando, and New Orleans. There's been a whole bunch of conversation around some of the women that should be head coaching candidates. Becky Hammon, Kara Lawson, and Teresa Weatherspoon are on that list. I don't particularly think that Kara is going to leave Duke right now. She just got there, so I haven't really bought into that one from her. But Becky Hammon is a hot name. King, how would you feel about having a woman as a coach?
You know, I feel you got to watch your words here.
It's our podcast.
Let's
see.
Safe
space.
So I think it depends on who the woman was, because I think in a certain scenario, like it couldn't just be any woman. You feel me? Just coaching. Like Becky Hammon has a notable reputation to where I respect her, and I would definitely listen. But I don't know if we're at a place in the world where men can have a woman coach, especially on in NBA level, when you got a lot of guys who make a lot of money, and it's hard for men to coach them. I don't know if we're at a place right now where we can have women head coaches in the NBA.
I haven't played at the level that you guys have played, okay? But I think it will take an incredible amount of courage for a team president and an owner to hire a female coach, even if she is the most qualified person. And I think before that happens, let's say we're talking about the Washington Wizards, okay? Now, we know Kara Lawson's from the DC area. Would be a great story, right? If it was her. Monica, you don't think that's likely. She only got to Duke. But in order for that to happen, Bradley Beal or Russell Westbrook, or preferably both of them, would need to publicly come out and say, we support this hire. We wanted her. We are all on Team Kara, okay? Because if that doesn't happen, I think there will always be skepticism among the fan base. Like, well, did they just hire? And Monica and I talked about this yesterday kind of offline. A diversity hire for the sake of a diversity hire is not really putting anybody in a position to succeed. But if Bradley or Russ comes out and says, Kara's a great basketball mind, she's a great leader, I'd love to play for her. That's what I almost think needs to take place before a team can go ahead and say, you got the job.
But you know, but to your flip side, to your point, Bruce, like Kansas had a female strength coach. Her name was Andrea Hootie, and she's one of the best.
She was really good.
Yeah, she's one of the best in the business, and she ended up going to Texas with Shaka. I think she's still there with Beard, but she's one of the best in the business, and she's a female strength coach. So I feel like, because that's not normally an area where you would think like, okay, you can have a female strength coach. Like that's not normally an area where you think that a lot of men would be like, okay, let me listen to her. But she does a great job. She's amazing what she does. But like you said, Bruce, Kansas was able to take that leap of faith and that courage of, we can hire this woman because she knows what she's talking about, and she's one of the best in the business. She's proven herself. So I think I agree with you 110%. I mean, it's gonna have to take somebody to have the courage or the leap of faith to be able to coach, somebody come out and just say, hey, we want this hire, we want her, in order for somebody to or some organization to make that move.
King, I'm really glad you said what you said, though, because I think for all the progress that we're making as a society, and there's reason to be excited and optimistic, I don't think we're there yet. And I think, Bruce, you nailed it. It's going to require superstars to say, I vouch for and I want to see. In the same way we saw Dame say that he wanted Jason Kidd. Now, that didn't pan out, but that had a lot of weight with the organization. I've talked to Niele Ivey a bit, who returned to Notre Dame to take the head coaching position, but she spent a year with the Memphis Grizzlies. And it's basketball. So that part of it, I totally understand. I do think that we will see it in our lifetime, but I imagine that it has to be a total organizational buy-in, including your star players, and it probably will require an incredible staff. And then honestly, guys, and I'm saying this as a woman, sometimes I think, like, how long has Chauncey been trying to get a shot at a head coaching job? And he just got it. So it takes time. And unfortunately, and King, you and I probably heard this from our parents, whatever, you got to be twice as good when you represent a minority in a space. And so if it takes Becky twice as long, it would be unfortunate, but it wouldn't surprise me, because for all the progress that we're making as a society, again, to your point, King, that progress is more like 10 miles an hour than the 60 miles an hour it tends to be during Black History Month or Pride Month, or whenever we decide we're celebrating diversity, when in reality, it's not moving that fast.
That's real. 110% of you hit the nail on the hammer. No, wait, hit the hammer on the nail. You know what I
do that too. You hit the nail on the head.
You hit the nail on the head. There we go, Monica.
I got nothing to add. I think you guys said it all there.
Thanks, mic drop. If you'd like to hear more from our featured discussion, check out the full version of Buckets, Boards, and Blocks presented by Pure Hoops Media. I'm King McClure along with Monica McNutt, and we're also on YouTube now. Go check us out. Let's go.